King. And to those who are participating via Zoom, please state your name when making a comment or asking a question. We'll begin our meeting with a roll call. Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members of the Regional Council, please unmute and indicate if you are present. Mayor Anderson?
Here.
Thank you. Mayor Beck? Mayor Borowski? Mayor Bratcher?
Present.
Thank you. Mayor Crane? Jen Daniels?
Here.
Thank you. Mayor Eaton?
Here.
Thank you. Mayor Freeman? Mayor Friedel? Mayor Gallego? Supervisor Galvin? Supervisor Goodman? Chair Hartke?
Present.
Thank you. President Javier?
Present.
Thank you. Mayor Emocio?
Present.
Thank you. Mayor Lavault?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. Governor Roe Lewis? Mayor Molina?
Present.
Thank you. Mayor Morris?
Present.
Thank you. Mayor Osborne?
Present.
Thank you. President Patia?
Here.
Thank you. Mayor Pineda?
Present.
Thank you. Mayor Pizzillo? Thank you. Mayor Rodriguez? Mayor Sarter?
Present.
Thank you. Mayor Schoaf?
Present.
Thank you. Mayor Sykes? Mayor Smith?
Here.
Thank you. Mayor Stanton?
Present.
Thank you. Mayor Wires?
I'm here.
Thank you. Mayor Wheatley? Or excuse me, Councilmember Brian McClure as proxy for Mayor Wheatley.
Here.
Thank you. Mayor Wilson?
Here.
Thank you. Mayor Woods? Is there anyone that I missed? Mr. Chair, we have quorum.
Thank you so much. If you'd please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
and
To the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It is my understanding that neither online or present, we have any speaker cards now or any other time in the meeting. Is that still correct?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That is correct.
All right, so committee members, I will not be bringing that up again since we have no speakers. All right, information items. That was number 3. Number 4, items 4A and B are for information only. Does any member of the committee have any questions or request presentation on any of these items? Seeing none, hearing none. Our next item is number 5, approval of the consent agenda. Items 5A through 5G are on the consent agenda. Does any member of the committee have questions or request a presentation on any of these items? Again, seeing none, hearing none.
Move to approve.
We have a motion by Mayor Wires,
Second.
second by Mayor Hermosillo. Can I have a voice vote of those? Okay, yeah. For those of you online, always got to give you your admonition. Participating online, please turn on your cameras, unmute your audio. For those who cannot do so or do not want to turn on your cameras, stop, conduct a vote. Those who leave your cameras on, we will have a single vote for everyone. Can I have a voice vote of all those in the room and those online? Those in favor say aye.
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 Say nay. Please leave your cameras on. Steph.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. When I call your name, please indicate how you vote. Mayor Molina? President Javier, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. And Mayor Molina?
Aye.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, the motion passes.
Great. Thank you so much. We are just breakneck speed through our agenda tonight. Item number 6 is third project deferral requests for the town of Gila Bend. This is on the agenda for information, discussion, and possible action to recommend approval. Will be presented by Kay Bork, Transportation Planning Project Manager, and Gila Bend Town Engineer Dale Miller. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair Harkey, members of MAG Regional Council. I'm here today to introduce the town of Gila Bend's third project deferral request for their Gila Bend Unified School District Walkable Bikeable Perimeter Project. This project received MAG federal funding through a competitive project to complete a safe routes to school study, construct those recommended improvements. Per the MAG federal funding guidelines, jurisdiction requesting deferrals must make a presentation through the committee process, and Mr. Dale, engineer is here today to do that. In their presentation today, they must meet the federal funding criteria for a deferral request, and that would explaining the reason for the deferral beyond the city's control, town's control, how the delay will be addressed or is being addressed, as well as showing financial commitment and then presenting a revised schedule. And with that, I'd like to welcome Mr. Dale Miller.
Good morning, Chairman Harkey and members of the council. Pleasure to be here. On behalf of the town of Gila Bend, I am the town engineer, and going to be my task to administer this project throughout its progress. So this is the third deferral request, and the request is basically to move the design from FY24 to FY26 and to move the construction from FY25 to FY27. And it was previously approved. And so we're going to go through want to just real quickly run through the project itself and give you a quick overview. So this is the context. You've all been through Gila Bend, I know. Very familiar with the highway, at least through town, but the school complex is up on the north side of the community. And so that's regionally, it's that area where the arrow points to, kind of that large blue area is the campus. I must hit the wrong button, okay? Oh, here it comes. All right. So that a little zoom in and a little closer. You can see the school campus. The elementary and high school are both co-located there. And there was a new elementary school built a number of years ago, and that was driving the force for the Safe Routes to School study. And that's the blue building, the high school is behind, and the other existing buildings. So the project purpose, of course, is safe and accessible pedestrian routes for students' youth. And that goes through some of the things that are going to be improved. I'll just give you a real quick rundown that we're going to build just under a half a mile of new sidewalk in the community, 9 ADA accessible ramps, 6 traffic calming speed tables type devices, 14 different crosswalk markings, school crosswalk markings, and school zone signage to go with that, some additional stop signs for traffic control, and last but not least, a rectangular rapid flashing beacon safety device on Indian Road, which is the collector street on the north side of the campus, for safe crossing there. There's a Native American community just to the north of there, and people walk back and forth across that road. So here you can kind of see, I just put some pictures in here to show you an example of what we're dealing with. But as you can see on the upper picture, the left side there, there's no sidewalks at all. So that the students are forced to walk or bike, well as the, a disabled person would be forced to use either the road itself or the shoulder of the road. And down below are the two over on the elementary school side that are heading towards the elementary school. And you can see there's no sidewalks on either side of the road in those locations. So there is a need. Whoops, backing up. So this is the third deferral request, but in my mind, it's really the first because the first two were COVID related and out of the control of the town. And so this one, and I wanted to run through real quick that the town has a commitment to seeing this project through, even though we're asking for a deferral because of circumstances. But the local funding has been programmed, it's been safeguarded and protected, and it's available to spend on this project. Already mentioned the fiscal years it's slated for. We are in the process of reinitiating the project with ADOT because ADOT's going to administer the project and be responsible for the design and the construction, and designed to be completed coming up soon this fiscal year 2026, starting in July, and then completed the year after in terms of construction. So we want to move forward as quickly as we can with the project. There's the detailed project schedule, which I won't bore you with, but that walks through the whole process we've gone through to get to this point. So I think that's pretty much what I wanted to cover for you today. Like I say, the project is sorely needed, as you could tell from the pictures, and these came out of the Safe Routes to School study that was undertaken, and so we're implementing those tasks. So with that, I'll just respectfully ask for your approval of the third deferral request, and be available to answer any questions should you have any. Thank you.
Thank you, Dale. Thank you, Kay. I just want to say it sounds like a good project that ensures greater safety for your students and community. But do any members have questions or comments? Seeing.
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
All right. Thank you. No questions.
Thank you.
We also have, as stated before, no speaking requests or online comments for this. So is there a motion to approve the third deferral for the town of Gila Bend Unified School District Walkable Bikeable Perimeter Project, and inclusion of the associated amendments to the FY 25-30 MAG Transportation Improvement Plan, Regional Strategic Transportation Infrastructure Investment Plan, and Momentum of 2050 MAG Regional Transportation Plan? That took 3 breaths to get through that sentence, guys.
So.
Second.
We have a motion by Mayor Smith and a second by Mayor Hermosillo. All right, to those of you who are participating online, please turn on your cameras and be ready to vote as we now enter this. All in favor, say aye.
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 For that one person. All opposed, say nay. All right, Steph.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Everyone did have their camera on and the motion passes.
All right, everyone on this side of the screen gives you a standing ovation for those who are watching online. Thank you all. Congratulations, Gila Bend. Item number 7 is the MAG fiscal years 26-27 biennial Unified Planning Work Program and Budget. This item is on the agenda for approval. This will be presented by Kathy Christensen, Accounting Program Manager. Kathy.
Oh, it's not on. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good afternoon, members of the Regional Council. I'm here today to present the final draft of the fiscal year 2026-2027 Biennial Unified Planning Work Program and Budget for your approval. The final documents reflect all the key discussions that have been held throughout the development process. Here's a brief summary of that progression. In February, MAG introduced the proposed member dues and assessments and a preliminary list of project funding, as well as an overview of the budget timeline. In March, we shared the staffing plan and the proposed employee compensation for both fiscal years. In April, we presented the fiscal year 2026-2027 draft programs in brief, along with the draft Unified Planning Work Program, which included project outcome measures and results. Additionally, on April 22nd, MAG met with state and federal funding partners, collectively known as the Intermodal Planning Group, to review the draft Unified Planning Work Program and gather feedback. MAG has only received positive feedback throughout this process, especially related to the ongoing planned activities for each fiscal year. In terms of the financials, The fiscal year 2026 budget totals approximately 62.8 million, with more than 54% of the allocated to transportation-related projects and expenditures. This is noticeably higher than the fiscal year 2027 budget, which is approximately 41.4 million, primarily due to 18.4 million in carry forward for ongoing projects reflected only in fiscal year 2026. Thank you for your collaboration throughout this process, and I'd be happy to address any questions or comments you may have at this time. This is on the agenda for action today.
And Chair Hartke, just to put a finishing note on what Kathy has done, I want to thank Kathy for the work she and Yesenia Mejia and all our fiscal staff have done and all the MAG staff. But thank you for your support. We can take this through month after month. I know it's a lot and it's a big part of your packet. The good news is you only do this every 2 years here at MAG because we're on a biennial cycle. But it's really important, the work that we've done. It's important to me that we treat every dollar that we receive very carefully because it is all taxpayer money, regardless whether it's federal or state or county or your own dues. It all comes from the taxpayers. And so we treat that the way you would want us to treat it, which is with a great deal of respect. And our entire MAG team has really dug in this cycle to be sure that we are putting every possible dollar towards projects that impact our residents, your residents, our member agencies. You've been good about allowing us to continue to compensate our staff well, to reward them for the good work that they do, and we thank you for that. But we've been very careful, and as we've noted before, this budget does reflect a reduction of staffing by almost 5%, by 5 positions, and that really reflects the work that we've all done to make sure that we have the right people doing the right work that matters to you and connects with what you do. So just as this final one that you have to do for the next 2 years, again, to say thank you to the membership for your support and your input. And we look forward to this passing and submitting it to ADOT and FH Federal Highway Administration, which is our 2 agencies that oversee our work. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zucker. Thank you, Kathy. Are there any members that have questions or comments? I just want to say, and I seem to say this every time, and I don't mind saying that, in that I appreciate the work of MAG in identifying really the crucial services and the best, keeping us in the best position in MAG to serve our greater community, and whether that's consolidating, whether that is examining positions as mayors and elected officials. We do appreciate that work in our cities, and really it just continues to bolster my confidence in regional government as well as our local cities. So I'm grateful for the work that you all do to keep us lean and mean, but right-sized for that purpose as well. Seeing no comments, hearing no comments, knowing that we have no comments from the public are written, is there a motion to approve the MAG fiscal years 26-27 biennial unified planning work program and budget? Although it says budge on my notes here. I'll add an extra T.
So moved.
So moved by Mayor Hermosillo. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mayor Eaton. Those participating online, again, please get ready to flick on that video. And can I have a voice vote for those who are in the room and those who are online? Those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed say nay. Staff, take it from here.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, all cameras were on and the motion passes.
Whoa, we are on an amazing roll of all cameras on today. Item number 8 is the point in time count results. This is on the agenda for information and discussion. This is going to be presented by Brian Gruder, the Regional Homeless Program Manager. Thank you, Brian. Welcome.
Thank you, Chair and members of council. I'm excited to be back here again to share with you data from our 2025 point in time count. This took place in January, 28th of January to be exact. So going to give a little recap of just what the point in time count is for those of you who maybe haven't gone out to do it before. You'll remember, those of you who have, that this is an annual event. We do it required by HUD each year, along with everybody else in the whole United States that gets money from the federal government for homelessness work. So we all do it in the last 10 days of January. We go out either at night or early in the morning, count folks who are sleeping outside. That involves either an observation or a survey, sometimes both. And then we also tally up all of the shelter beds that are in use that night to get a full picture of our homeless system on that one night. Couldn't really do this work without the volunteers, so we'd just love to say thank you to everybody who participated, those who coordinated it in each of your respective jurisdictions, and then all the volunteers and staff that went out to do the count as well. Mayor Harkey, I know that you went out with our own Amy St. Peter and Chandler. We thank you very much for taking the time to do that, showing us around. So key takeaways from this year: homelessness is up 1% since 2023. Why 2023? We'll talk a little bit about how last year, 2024, was kind of an anomaly, considered a high water mark, if you will. So we'll go back to that in just a second. But the numbers are up slightly, and that's the main takeaway on this slide. In addition to that, federal money for shelters expired this last year. So we had a lot of money from the federal government that was time limited, generally in response to the pandemic. A lot of that money was used for shelter, and most of it went away. So we really amped up our shelter capacity for a short period of time, lost a lot of it, and you're going to see increases as a result of that. Last but not least, we'd like to talk about potential future funding cuts at the federal level and what that might do to our homeless count in future years. So taking a look at this, on the right, top line, that's our number this year. So 9,734 people counted, of whom, if you look at the blue box, 4,527 were in a shelter situation. And below that, you're going to see two other numbers, 4,987 and 220. So just to point out real quick, that's unsheltered. Both of those numbers, if you add them up, come out to 5,207. Did I get that right? The 220 is a call out. The city of Phoenix has done a really good job with their safe outdoor space, which is an outdoor environment with tent structures, on-site security, shade structures, and so forth. It's a bit more than somebody who's just living in a car in a park, right? It's a full-on effort. We talked to HUD this year about including that in the sheltered count. They weren't willing to let us do that, but we wanted to make a note here of all the work that went into that. So that's the sheltered number. And now talk a little bit about kind of the overall trend. So if you look at 2019, just observe how it trends upwards. That's been consistent throughout the last several years, and this year was really no change there. The one blip you'll see, 2024 goes down. As mentioned, we had a lot more shelter capacity that year. And the other thing I wanted to note just is that the overall increase is a roughly 42% until 2024, which is the most recent data that we have on the general population increase is 1.2%. We have data up until 2024. New data comes out this year in July, so we won't account for that. But general population, 1.2% increase. Homeless population, 42% increase. So that's what I'll leave you with on this slide. Since last year, we had a 3% overall increase in homelessness, but a 28% increase in unsheltered homelessness, again, due to shelter closures. 16% reduction in people staying in shelter compared to last year. Now, if you look at 2023 for comparison, smaller numbers. And this is just because we had less shelter capacity in 2023. So it's helpful to take that into account as well, I think. We are also doing work at the moment. We as a region, driven in large part by City of Phoenix and others who are investing significant local resources that hopefully are not time limited, like that federal funding, into additional shelter capacity. I'd like to point out just a few key demographics and subpopulations that we track. So older adults represented 22% of the count this year. This is folks who are age 55 plus. I know that's not real old. I'm almost 10 years off of that, but nothing's old anymore. But know that if you're living outside, you age more quickly, right? So we start a little bit earlier than when we consider old adults. For families, 539 families, this was approximately 1,800 people. So family units, and then 1,800 individuals. The youth population, 555 folks who were within the ages of 18 and 24. Veterans, population slightly higher than last year, but generally running relatively low still. And then chronic homelessness is up. Incidentally, chronic homelessness is folks who've been living outside for a year continually, or a period of a year broken up into pieces. So then real quick to get into some of these other data points that, as mentioned up front, we're watching kind of the federal landscape and other housing and just issues related to housing in general. As you'll know, working in the cities that you work in, housing is more expensive than it used to be. That's no secret. We believe that there's a direct link from that to increases in homelessness across the region. Just one statistic, if you look at 2011, 90% of the rental units out there cost $1,000 or less. That's not true anymore. Now it's 10% or less. Last year, we had a record high eviction rate. People entering the homeless system means more people who are trying to get out of it, who are scrambling for rental units, which are now more expensive. It puts upward pressure on all of the available housing. The limited housing supply, we know that the vacancy rate has decreased steadily since the Great Recession in 2008. And then this is putting, again, more pressure on the housing market that we have. And then last but not least, we know that the federal funding reductions that are coming are just going to further exacerbate this. So, call this out just to highlight what may be coming down the pike. We saw this already last year with the shelter beds closing. We know that locally we've had programs that had to shut down. One example from the Northwest iHelp, there's approximately 36 shelter beds that closed down out of Surprise, Avondale, and Peoria. This was a program that was funded in some part by federal funding and just, not able to sustain after that. And then potential reductions could also include reductions in the count of housing vouchers that are out there available to people, units, and then also funding for the type of program that we operate here at MAG to address homelessness. This is last but not least. So we are also tracking the availability of services that support vulnerable populations. So these are populations that have trouble finding housing or staying in housing on their own. So folks, in the older adults category, a lot of people who are on a fixed income may not be able to afford more than $1,000 a month in rent, in particular if they have to pay for care, mobility assistance, things like that. Folks with mental health issues, obviously at elevated risk of losing their homes, same with substance use. And I'd like to just leave you with this slide. We thought this was a good one to summarize kind of the overall picture. If you look at the blue, kind of the trend line between orange and blue, last year it starts to go down, right? That was a good sign. We see that the sheltered count is going up. And what that really means is visibility is going down. So as you see the sheltered get bigger, visibility is decreasing. And that was a direct result of an influx of federal money. This year that reversed. And so really, we know we can do the job. We've been doing the job. It's just that you have to have the resources to do it well. So we'll leave you with that. If you have any questions, my email address is there, and this QR code is going to take you straight to the Pit Count Report website that we have stood up. You can download the full report there. I think at 12:30 it's going live. And any questions that you may have, we're available.
Thank you, Brian. Can you go back to that last slide, please? And again, just the safe outdoor space, your double asterisks, that applied to which year again? Was that 21 or was that this? Would that have added that onto this year?
Thanks for the question, Mayor Harkey. That is specifically
okay,
that yellow section there.
Yeah, that gets a little lost in the line there where that comes across. Thank you.
Yep.
Do you, second question, obviously homelessness isn't just a Phoenix issue or a greater Phoenix issue. Do you have any comparison to some other cities? Or if not, can you get that to us? How are we doing related to our peers? And obviously this is the numbers that we need to take care of, want to take care of, but how do we rate to those other cities experiencing homelessness as well?
Boy, that's a great question. Thank you for that. I'll just say I've had the privilege of working in a couple other areas, so I can speak to those directly. Everybody is struggling with this, and the issue, last year was the highest national homeless count on record. It's going up everywhere because housing costs have been going up everywhere. Vacancy rates are down in many cities, and so cities that you would think would have a high homeless population, there's this inverse correlation. If you look at a city like Detroit, for example, which is generally a high poverty city, low rates of homelessness because they have low vacancy rates and low housing costs. But and Phoenix used to be in that category up until a few years ago. And then when Phoenix became a city with low vacancy rates and high housing costs, it kind of crossed over into the challenging trouble zone, if you will. So it sort of joined its brothers and sisters on the West Coast cities, Seattle, Portland, Los Angeles, San Diego, et cetera. Those cities have always struggled with this issue because they have high cost of living and low vacancy rates.
Okay, thank you. Members, any honest questions or comments? None in the room, but none online. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I also want to thank Amy for coming out and being my bodyguard for a day. And I remember at one point we were trying to track down music in a big parking garage, trying to determine, was it above us? Was it below us? And we found the person who was experiencing homelessness in a back corner there. And it was in a little stairwell, but it was a perplexing moment, I think, for both of us trying to figure this out. Okay, item number 9, Rio Reimagined Active Transportation Study Group. This is on our agenda for information and discussion. We welcome back Ms. Bork.
Okay. Thank you, Chair Harkey, members of MAG Regional Council. I am very excited to be here today to present to you some information on a new project at MAG, and that's the Rio Reimagined Active Transportation Study. So before getting into the study details, I did want to provide a definition on active transportation. So what is active transportation? It's any form of travel that relies on human power, and generally that's walking or biking. It's how people get from place to place without a car. To support this kind of travel, communities invest in safe and efficient infrastructure like sidewalks, bike lanes, multi-use paths, and safe crossings. So not only does active transportation help connect neighborhoods and important destinations, it has the added benefit of reducing traffic congestion, improving air quality, and improving public health by supporting physical activity. So the purpose of the MAG study is to create a unified vision for a regional multi-use path that connects communities along the Rio Salado and parts of the Gila River corridors. This study is about supporting and advancing transportation, economic development, environmental, and recreational goals that are envisioned for the Rio Reimagined corridor. 3 objectives are guiding this effort. The first is leveraging past and current planning. We'll establish a cohesive active transportation vision for a seamless user experience. Our focus is on selecting a preferred river path alignment that meets the needs of diverse communities and enhances connectivity. And finally, we will be establishing a framework that will help guide the development of local projects, but aligned with the shared regional vision. So before moving on to more details about the project boundary, I thought it would be a good idea to share what is Rio Reimagined exactly. So how does Rio Reimagined align with the MAG study? So Rio Reimagined is actually a separate planning initiative led by ASU, Arizona State University, to revitalize 55 miles of the Rio Salado and parts of the Gila River corridor. This was launched in 2018 with the statement of intent that was signed by 6 cities: Maricopa County, Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian Community, Gila River Indian Community, and Salt River Project. They agreed to collaborate and to support each other's projects along the river. And ASU serves as the convener of this effort, referred to as the Rio Reimagined, and it's guided by the Rio Reimagined Advisory Group. Their focus is to restore the river's ecosystem and promote sustainable economic growth. ASU recently received grant funding to begin their first phase of a visioning process. This work will officially kick off I think it officially kicked off last month. Meanwhile, the MEG study focuses specifically on active transportation, identifying a preferred path alignment, and improving connectivity. So the MAG study is essentially one chapter in the broader Rio Reimagined vision. So here the slide shows the 2 boundary areas. You'll see the MAG study area in purple and the Rio Reimagined study area, what looks like yellow, but I think it's green. Sorry about that. The MAG study area is very large. It's about 90 miles in length and 2 to 3 miles in width along the corridor. It follows the Rio Salado and parts of the Gila River corridors and includes 6 of your cities, unincorporated areas of Maricopa County, and 3 Native nations. We did expand the MAG study area boundary beyond the Rio Reimagined boundary because the river changes its width and character along the path, and looking at the wider area, we believe we'll find more opportunities to link neighborhoods, parks, and other destinations in meaningful ways. This slide does a great job of illustrating the diversity in landscapes and urbanization along the corridor. The photo to the right, obviously, is Tempe Town Lake, and the photo to the left is looking east towards Buckeye. The varying landscapes and types of existing and planned development will likely result in distinct active transportation requirements for each segment along the river, supporting the long-range vision for each jurisdiction, whether that's ecotourism, mixed-use development, or habitat restoration. MEG launched the Rio Reimagined Active Transportation Study in response to interest from member agencies and regional partners. This interest was shaped through feedback gathered by MEG's Urban Water Ambassador and conversations with the Rio Reimagined Advisory Group. From those discussions, a clear vision emerged, the need for a regional river trail connecting communities along the corridor. As the region's planning agency, MEG saw an opportunity to lead and initiate the study as a catalyst project. With strong support from member agencies, the study was approved and funded by MEG Regional Council in 2020. A key part of this study is our stakeholder advisory group made up of staff from MEG member agencies and ASU Rio Reimagined. So over the next 18 months, this group will meet regularly to guide the study, shaping tasks, reviewing deliverables, and offering critical insights. This group brings a diverse expertise from transportation and planning to parks and recreation, ensuring a more holistic and connected vision. So here's the project process and schedule. It's an 18-month study process. We began in March of 2025 and will conclude in August of 2026 with a final plan for regional council acceptance. So the 2 projects highlighted in green are where we are today. We did have the kickoff in March and held our first stakeholder advisory group meeting in April. The task community engagement and existing conditions. Here is where we'll be gathering input throughout the study process from the community, and the consultant is in process of studying the corridor's current conditions. From there, we'll use what we've learned and we'll shape a clear vision with shared goals and objectives. From there, we'll explore where and how trails and active transportation can align along the river corridor and link communities and destinations. And under implementation strategies, this is where the vision becomes action, where we'll identify strategies, partners, and resources to move projects forward. And finally, all the work will come together in one final report. This document will serve as a blueprint for future planning, funding, and project development efforts. This concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Thank you.
Thank you, Kay. Any questions or comments? Kay, I just have one on the, for that, if you could go back to your last slide. So the draft or in the final reports, will it also include existing paths so current amenities that different communities along the river have, as well as then expand to what it will be?
Absolutely. Thank you for the question. Yeah, the plan will look at what existing infrastructure there is. So we'll kind of develop that through our existing conditions, and then it will identify those gaps of where we can create that alignment and connectivity.
Great. What another rich amenity for our Greater Valley. Thank you.
Yep.
And next up, we have Samantha Kolekolak, our Government Relations Project Manager, presenting nominating committee.
Thank you, Chair. The nominating committee met at 10:30 a.m. on Thursday, May 22nd, to recommend the positions for the 2025-2026 MAG Regional Council Executive Committee. The recommended slate of candidates is as follows. Chair, Mayor Alexis Hermosillo, City of El Mirage. Vice Chair, Mayor Eric Orsborn, City of Buckeye. Treasurer, Mayor Julia Wheatley, Town of Queen Creek. 3 members at large, Mayor Kate Gallego, City of Phoenix. Mayor Mark Freeman, City of Mesa. Mayor Jerry Wires, City of Glendale, and as past chair, Mayor Kevin Hartke as City of Chandler. The election of officers will take place at the annual meeting of MAG Regional Council on June 25th, 2025. We would like to thank the members of Nominating Committee for agreeing to serve. Chair of Nominating Committee, Mayor Kate Gallego, City of Phoenix. Mayor Mike Pineda, City of Avondale. President Sandra Patia, Fort McDowell Yavapai Nation. Mayor Joe Pizzillo, City of Goodyear. And Mayor Valerie Molina, Town of Guadalupe. Thank you, Chair. That completes my report.
Thank you so much. Members, do you have any questions or comments for Samantha or members of the nominating committee? We had a little too much sleepy food, I think, today. This is a sleepy group today. All right. Thank you so much, Sam. Air quality update. This item is on the agenda for information and discussion presented by Environmental Director Matt Poppin.
Thank you, Chair Harkey and members of the Regional Council. I just have a brief good news update regarding our ozone planning to share with you. If you remember last month, the Regional Council adopted the MAG 2025 8-hour ozone plan, which addressed some outstanding moderate area requirements that we had to submit to EPA to meet Clean Air Act requirements. You adopted that at the end of the month. ADEQ was able to turn that and submit that up to EPA at the end of April. And then on May 1st, we did get a letter from EPA Region 9 finding that plan complete. And with that letter, that terminates sanctions that would have applied in the region. So by your action, those sanctions, those counterproductive sanctions will no longer apply, including a 2-to-1 offset on large industries and the possible withholding of highway funds. So that's great news moving forward. What we're going to be doing next is a revision to that plan to account for the impact of international emissions on our ozone concentrations and to remove exceedances caused by wildfires. So we're busy putting a revision to that plan together, and that should come before Regional Council in October for adoption and submittal to EPA. Once EPA were to act on that plan, that would keep us at moderate if they were to approve that plan, and we would stay a moderate non-attainment area. So that completes my update today. Happy to take any questions or comments the committee may have.
Thank you, Matt. Questions or comments? Seeing none, hearing none online. Thank you. Item number 12, Executive Director's Report. Zucker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to go back to what Matt said. I think don't want to let it pass in our sort of ham sandwich induced comas here, but what's been accomplished by MAG and the Regional Council in keeping this area at moderate status is really unprecedented in the United States. In fact, we have people asking us, how did we do it? And it's just regional attention and 2 senators who just really have pushed for us for common sense and an EPA that's really willing to listen to common sense. So they want that to go by because I think the Regional Council should take a victory lap for how far we've gotten. And really, Matt and his staff have just put in the time and the work to make that happen. So really proud of those guys too. Talking through an executive director's report, May kicked off heat relief efforts. It didn't feel very hot at the beginning of May, but we're all feeling it now. So the heat relief centers are open. In the picture, Mayor Gallego, as you can see, she and the heat relief director are bundled up a little bit on May 1st, but it soon got hot. And they opened the city's latest 24/7 heat relief facility throughout the entire region in your communities. There are 19 respite centers, 69 cooling centers, 97 hydration stations, always looking for more. MAG keeps the map that keeps everybody organized and knowing where there are resources available. Cleo Warner on our staff is always available if you or your staff have questions. Next item. In transportation, 3 big things happening. Any of you who've traveled north know that the I-17 Flex Lane project is open. The mileage in Maricopa County was the funding came from that from the MAG region. And it does, those of you who travel up north can testify as to whether it makes a difference. I haven't gone up there myself yet, but I think it probably will make a big difference and hopefully help with alleviate issues when there are accidents on one direction or the other on summer Sundays, that there's another way to get people around that with those flex lanes. Also important, on June the 3rd, the next week is a big week for Prop 400 openings. First is the Broadway Curve. There's a media event on June 3rd, Tempe Diablo Stadium at 9 a.m. For a celebration there that folks are welcome to join. And that is the state's largest ever reconstruction project, the I-10 Broadway Curve project. Then on Saturday, the 7th, will be the opening of the South Central Light Rail Extension with Valley Metro, the City of Phoenix, and the community. That's on Saturday, June 7th. You are invited to attend. It's an 8 o'clock start at, I believe, the Baseline Park and Ride is where the celebration will happen, but there will also be events at the Broadway Road Edge Pastoral Transit Center and the Downtown Hub at Cityscape. So all these projects are a result of the regional efforts to pass Prop 400. There'll be similar things coming with Prop 479. And so we just want to note that you're welcome to join those celebrations. Next, what's becoming a monthly tradition is where is Mayor Harkey? And more importantly, what is Mayor Harkey wearing? Our chair, Mayor Harkey, recently traveled to Germany, where he was a participant in the German-American Semiconductor Cities Network Exchange, an initiative by the American Council on Germany to foster collaboration and share best practices. It looks like he's ready to go in the clean room. And I'm not sure if the hat came from here or if they were presented the hat to you. In that, you can explain what you're looking at there. It looks fascinating, whatever it was, Mayor. I'm not sure what are we looking at in the water.
So this is in pretty sure this is in Dresden, and this is a water treatment plant. So this is kind of an open where they're kind of skimming stuff out of there and aerating. And I'm pleased to say that is my favorite hat, and it's been so for over a decade.
Okay, very good.
Came from a thrift store in Flagstaff, of all places.
It looks very location appropriate, however. So thank you for that. Last couple things. First of all, we'd like to encourage everyone who can to attend next month's meeting here in person. As noted by Samantha, it is the annual meeting of MAG. And at that, there are important transportation items. We also have election of officers, which Samantha presented to you, and the passing of the gavel ceremony. Also, in a tradition started last year, as recommended by Mayor Wires, there will be a full hot lunch served instead of box lunches next month. And sort of like in the traditions of the Masters, the chair will be have influence over what is served. So start lobbying Chair Harkey for your favorite Italian, Mexican, German, I'm not sure, whatever you approve. But it will be good to see everybody here next month. And then we will take our traditional July break of MAG. Last thing is a little bit of bittersweet. We want to recognize that lovely voice that you hear calling roll every month, Andrea Martinez. This is actually her last meeting with us. She has taken an offer to go work for Arizona State University. She's very excited. We're sad to leave her, but we can't begrudge her the fact that she'll be working a half mile from her home. So she's doing her part for clean air. In all seriousness, Andrea's done a great job of organizing these meetings. You see here, there at that machine, but actually it is a very intense process to put together these packets and send them to you that Andrea has been working on for the last 3+ years. We're sorry to see her go, but very happy that she has found a place that gives her that quality of life improvement. So I just thank Andrea for that. And with that, Mayor Harkey, that concludes my report.
Well, I think we also just join and thank Andrea for your work. And you're right, there's a lot of moving parts there. And so when I was in Germany, it was the season for white asparagus. So can we have white asparagus and schnitzel at our next meeting? So
I think there might be a German restaurant in downtown. Not mistaken, but we'll see if that can work.
I think the
But we do
season
want
is
people
over.
to come to the meeting, so we might have to talk about what the food choice is.
All right, thank you. Next, legislative update, again by Samantha Klaklak. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Hartkey, members of Regional Council. We are in the 20th week of the legislative session. The legislature has taken a recess, with the House coming back last week with a light agenda and adjourning again until June 4th. The Senate, who is coming off of a 3-week recess, is returning today also for some light business. It sounds as though there are initial budget conversations occurring at this point. And at this point as well, the governor has signed 214 bills and vetoed 138. With that, here's an update on the bills we're still tracking. SB 1086, Transportation System Performance ADOT, did pass out of the House on a party line vote and was vetoed by Governor Hobbs. HCR 2035 and companion SCR 1004, vehicle mileage tracking tax prohibitions, are still awaiting a third read in the House, which could then be flipped with the Senate resolution, but there has been no additional movement at this point. Shifting to movement at the federal level, outdated formula funding for transportation has been an issue that MAG has been tracking for many years now. As a rapidly growing state, we have not seen our fair share of apportionments from federal funding formulas based on our increasing population here. Congressman Stanton has introduced a resolution named the Highway Formula Fairness Act that would allow for the decennial census to be considered when calculating for apportionments, which would allow for more updated population data to be utilized. The resolution also directs the Secretary of Transportation to conduct a modernization study on methods and data used to apportion highway funds. We will continue to track this legislation accordingly, and that completes my report, Chair. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Samantha. Any questions or comments? All right, thank you so much. Item 14 is requests for future agenda items. Do we have any? Seeing none, hearing none. Item 15, comments from the committee. Are there any comments or announcements from the membership? Mayor Wires.
Yeah, I would like to basically just tell everybody what we've been able to accomplish as late as yesterday evening at our voting meeting. And it has a lot to do with the point in time count. Glendale, as of yesterday, our council made the final approval for 50 veteran homeless cottages. We already had the groundbreaking, but we had to finish that final vote last night. That's been approved, and they'll be bringing the machinery in as early as next week to get that project going. And then I was just at a ribbon cutting 6 days ago from Family Promise, which just opened 12 units for families of homelessness. And I don't know about the other mayors in the room, but we're experiencing 4 years in decline in our homeless population because of the things we've been doing. And I'd be happy to share with any mayors that want what we've been doing. And it's not just those 2 or 3 things. It's been a multitude of things. But I think we can, I don't think we can beat it, but I think we can sure take a hold of it and make a big difference. I would encourage anybody who has any questions, come talk to us.
Thank you, Mayor Wires.
Thank you.
Any additional comments? All right. The next meeting of our regional council will be on Wednesday, June 25th at 11:30 a.m. with no further business. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.